If your goal is to do this, then keep watching. Hey guys, my name is Zach Ferguson, and this channel is all about helping you guys reach your tricking goals. I may not be the best tricker, but hopefully my experience can help you guys become the best. This is a tutorial for a sideswipe. A sideswipe is the first trick that I saw that I actually wanted to teach myself that I thought I could physically do. I saw backflips and I saw tumbling before, but this was the first tricking trick that I was like, I need to get this. I want to teach myself how to do this. For some reason I thought backflip would be harder or more dangerous and sideswipe wasn't, but it actually took me a long time to learn it. From the time of actually seeing it, I wasn't tricking yet or learning any acrobatics, and it actually took me somewhere around 3 years before I actually taught myself how to do this. But hopefully with my help, you'll learn it a lot faster than I did. So let's get to it. So, what is a sideswipe? A sideswipe is essentially a inverted or laid back 540 kick, or a Raiz where you switch legs in the middle and swipe through with your round kicking leg. Or literally a one-footed front flip where you turn 180 and kick down with the leg that you actually took off of. It's kind of complicated. So, like most of my tutorials, there are 2 different ways you can learn this, but unlike my other tutorials, this is one where I am demanding that you have your prerequisites, because this is going to be extremely dangerous or extremely hard for you to actually understand what to do or how to get this trick without either a 540 kick or a Raiz. If you have one of those, then you can work with that and change that into a sideswipe. If you have neither of those, then you're probably not going to understand what to do with this, and I'm not going to bother teaching you in this tutorial without one of those 2. So those are the ways we're going to approach it in this video. We're going to start with the way I like the least, but the way that might help you get it the fastest depending on how you think of your tricks or how you think of this trick. And that way is by turning your 540 kick into a sideswipe. So, just a second ago, I said that this was a one-footed front flip with a 180. I know that's kind of confusing to some of you guys. The reason I say that is because if you are doing it correctly and you're doing a proper Raiz, then you're taking off forward and then turning around. However, if you turn your 540 into a sideswipe, then you may not be doing it as forward. So if your sideswipe is like that, or if you're learning it like that, that might be why that's confusing to you. So this method is going to feel a little more backwards than forwards, but really you're gonna end up doing the same thing eventually. So again, I'm assuming you have your 540 kick, so go learn that and then come back, or let's start from there. So the first thing I want to make sure is that you can do a full 540 kick. So what I mean by that is that you do your step, you turn around, you lift, you spot your target, and then you kick through your target, and then you turn all the way back to your target as or before you land. So you should land with your left foot back if you 540 kick with your right foot. Obviously landing on your right foot first. If you've got that, then it's time to start. The first thing I want you to focus on is lifting your hips in your 540. So just like I said in my Raiz tutorial, you want to be able to push your hips forward with your cheat leg. So the leg you lift upwards, I'd recommend not lifting a knee anymore, but lifting with a straight leg. An easy way to force yourself to do this is to spot a target above you. So if you normally target around head height for your kick, or you just yeet your leg out there and probably pull your groin a lot because you're not targeting and doing a real round kick, then you want to target something higher than your head. You want to work your way to kicking higher and higher and higher with your leg as you sweep it through. So if you're kicking here, then you want to lean back a little bit more and kick here, and then try and get your leg above your head. So from where you started, if your leg is at least around this angle, then it's gonna start looking like a sideswipe. if that makes sense. When you do this, you're really gonna want to kick hard. If you do not kick as hard as you can, what's gonna happen is you're gonna go up and you're gonna lose fuel or lose momentum and start to descend the moment you start to kick. So make sure that you are pushing your hips forward and you are kicking as aggressive as you can as you're spotting that target. The moment you kick through your target, you want to immediately look for the ground and step down. Remember, a common thing that happens with people's 540 kick is when you are kicking, you start to relax. Or when you're trying to land or you know you've landed the move, you start to bend and relax your body. You actually want to do the exact opposite of that. So when you kick through your target, you kick really hard, and then you want to think about lifting your chest and pulling your head away from the ground. So pick your head up on 540 and Sideswipe. You should land the same way, right leg before left. Once you feel like you have a pretty high target, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the ground before you do your 540 kick. So the only change you're doing right now is you're looking over to your left side before you look at your target. So I'm not gonna step on my dogs, but I'll show you the motion. It's gonna look something like this. You spot, then what's gonna happen is as you lift this leg for your regular 540 kick, it's gonna start sending you almost sideways or backwards. And then if you look up, you're gonna stay up with this leg. It's gonna be pointing somewhere at this angle, and then you kick through with your right leg. Make sure when you kick through, you see that target, and then you immediately look at the ground. If you don't look at the ground, you're gonna get lost and you might hurt yourself. Once you can do that, it probably looks pretty much like a Sideswipe at this point. What you wanna do is some fine tuning and just try to separate your legs more, really look for a difference in it. A thing you can do to make it look better is to make sure that your leg that you have straight is chambered once you kick. So you lift that leg and you hold that leg up when you're kicking and you're doing your 540, and then when you're stepping through at the very end, pull that leg up off the ground and bend it. As long as your initial lifting leg, my left leg in this case, is parallel with the ground, then most people are gonna call this a Sideswipe, and you might be satisfied with that. So if you're satisfied with that, then great job, you've got a Sideswipe. If you want it more inverted, then let's go on to my preferred way, which is using a Raiz and turning that into a Sideswipe. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a fusion ha, if you know what I'm saying. I'd recommend that you get 2 tricks for this. Think about it less like a 540 kick, take that first method and just like throw it in the trash. Don't worry about that. What I would recommend is doing a Raiz mixed with a flash kick. So if you don't know what a flash kick is, it looks like this. If I have a tutorial for it, I will link it now, but at this moment I don't, so I'll just show you a few examples. If you watched my last video, it was a tutorial on a Raiz. I will link that right now. And you can go watch that and perfect your Raiz and then come back to this. You do not need a flash kick at all to do this, but I recommend it just because the landing position is the same and it helps you insanely to be able to invert your Sideswipe if you have a flash kick. So even though I said throw the 540 kick method in the trash, the way I actually originally learned it was I was in a muddy field back in Tennessee when I lived in Tennessee, and I was just drilling 540 kicks. I had no intention of doing like a Sideswipe at all, and I coincidentally had been training a lot of Raiz and touchdown Raiz at that time. So I was drilling my 540 kicks and I was really trying to get my leg as high as possible, kind of like I was saying in that last one, and I kind of just slipped on takeoff, so I kind of entered it more forward and it caused me to flip around because of the mud and just slipped, and I kicked really hard so I didn't die, and I was like, was that a Sideswipe? And I went back to my footage and I watched it and I was like, yes, I got a Sideswipe, that's awesome. And then from then on, I just had the feeling. I perfected it and cleaned it up over time using this method. So that's why I recommend this method, and maybe this method would be better for you to start with and not waste your time trying to do one method and turn it into the other. But I want to make sure that I show you as many possibilities as possible. Obviously, there are a bunch of other ways to do Sideswipe, but these are the 2 methods I think work the best. So I went over the spotting in my last video on a Raiz, so it's gonna be the exact same spotting on that. You are literally just doing a Raiz and plugging a flash kick into it, and that's gonna cause you to do a Sideswipe. So whether you have a flash kick or not, all you're gonna be focusing on is that right leg because you already have a good Raiz, right? So when you do your rise, you really focus on your left leg. You want to pull with as much power as possible, and you want to get your head down as hard as possible. The more you can think of this almost as like an opposite side aerial when you kick, the stronger your side swipe is going to be. Drive that head down and kick that leg backwards really, really hard. And then as soon as you turn for your rise, lift your chest to the sky. So get your chest down low as you kick, and then immediately turn your chest to the ceiling. You don't have to drop your chest down that low. And if you are crashing into the ground and it's hurting your ankle, then just stop putting your chest down low. This is just a very easy way to force you to invert. One of the most important things you want to do though is that chest up to the ceiling or the sky when you do your rise though. The reason is you're going to force yourself to arch, and when you arch, you expand your stomach and your abs, and then that's gonna allow you to actually have more power to contract and to kick with. If you start your side swipe like this and you try to kick, it's gonna be like, and you're not gonna have any power. So no matter whether you throw your head down and then chest up, or you just keep your chest up high the whole time, what you want to focus on is getting a really good arch. So that way you have a ton of power and you can kick straight to the ground, and it'll be easy to stand up at the end. What I'd recommend before actually attempting the side swipe is to do a couple rise and kind of think like now, like you're gonna side swipe, but don't do it yet. If you can keep your eyes on the ground the entire time, then you know you are inverted enough to do your side swipe. If you're really confident in your rise and you feel like you are floating in your rise, then it's time to try it out. What I'd recommend is if you have a good flash kick, just do your rise, and as soon as you feel that arch and you can look backwards, look back and just do a flash kick. Like when you're in midair, just start your rise and then just think, I'm just doing a flash kick. Don't think about anything else, because your body is gonna remember that feeling of the flash kick, and you have maybe a little bit extra sideways momentum than normal, but you probably land it first try. The reason I recommend flash kick is because it uses all of these front muscles in tandem to push yourself down to the floor and allows you to be a little straighter in your side swipe and less sideways, which causes you to look less inverted. If for some reason you cannot kick through and separate your legs on your side swipe, then what you might want to do is a rise punch. A lot of people call this an envergado, but it's a little different than an envergado, because an envergado is supposed to be a rise double leg, but it's kind of a gray area where if you do a rise and you get your legs together and you punch the ground with both feet at the same time, it kind of looks like you did a double leg, but whatever, I need to rant less, or maybe more, right, Koja? Either way, if you're doing rise punch or you're kicking through for a side swipe already, what I want you to focus on is pulling your left leg or your non-kicking leg back like this. So the harder you can pull this up this way, yeah, I just smashed my head on that. Pull this up this way, the more separated your legs are gonna look, and obviously don't actually rodeo, but like pull it up. The more separated your legs are gonna look, and the stronger your body is gonna stay in the air for longer, so that you are actually gonna land lighter. So if you are not doing this as you're landing, then make sure you do that, because that's gonna help you, one, separate your legs, and two, land lighter. And that's about it, guys. There's a million other things I could say about Sideswipe, and there's a ton of different ways I can teach you Sideswipe, but these are the two most efficient, I think, and they're very heavily reliant on prerequisites, so there's not too much to teach you. It's do this trick plus this trick, or this trick plus this trick, combine them, and you got your trick. There's only a few tips I want to throw in there to kind of help you understand how to do your Sideswipe or how to combine those tricks, but that's it. This is still interactive, so if you want to leave a comment and ask me for tips, if there's something nuanced that I forgot, please ask me and I'll help you out in the comments. You can also send me a message on Instagram at zach.enso. A few of you guys already have. I've helped some people with their web stirs and their butterfly twists. I really hope you guys got something out of those tips, and that training area you were training in looks really cool. Sideswipe is such a staple trick for so many trickers that it's almost like forbidden now to do in combos because it's done so often. But I hope this helped you get your Sideswipe, and if not, like I said, leave a comment, send me a message, and I'll help you out. Help me on my quest to 1,000 subs by subscribing down below. Hit the like button if you guys liked it, and until next time, please stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you later. Also, that was the first time that I realized that having tricking friends and having friends who don't trick is a very different experience, because once I got that video I was hanging out with some of my friends at the time, and I showed them the video and I was so hyped. I was like, wow, I got a Sideswipe. This was like one of my dream tricks. And they were like, cool, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you got it, but what is that even? And they were just not impressed. Yeah.